Colleen deactivated her Instagram on January 21st. Blake Lively manipulated her audiences and lied to her audiences.
Colleen Hoover slammed Blake Lively live on Instagram. And honestly, it was the plot surprise none of us saw coming.
And so the more time we got to spend with Blake Lively, the less we liked her.
And so the tables turned very quickly against Colleen. People expected her to then now give a more informed answer, a more informed response as to how she could have gone along with what is appearing to be such obvious forms of bullying.
The same Colleen Hoover who previously couldn't stop raving over Blake, calling her sensitive and honest, has now fully wiped her Instagram free of any sign of the "It Ends With Us" star. That's right, folks. The queen of tear-jerking books decided she's had enough of Blake's soap opera-worthy hijinks and pressed the digital delete button. And consequently, the more time we got to spend with Blake Lively, the less we liked her. Because let's be real, who could possibly keep up with the continual heaps of drama that Blake and her equally famous husband, Ryan Reynolds, have been presenting to the world? The modification was small at first. Hoover, noted for her pleasant Instagram comments and down-to-earth demeanor, suddenly fell quiet when the legal storm between Blake and Justin Baldoni exploded.
He told us that Justin Baldoni claims she tried to take over his movie because she has a history of saying, okay, I'll be the star, but what I secretly want to do is direct it and edit it and produce it. Justin Baldoni, who's not as well known. And yeah, see, they've been following the story. So he optioned this book called It Ends With Us, and it's about domestic violence. And he managed to get Blake Lively to star in his movie across from him.
Fans observed the first alarming indication when Hoover momentarily disabled her Instagram. When she came back, the second red sign was tough to miss. Every single photo of Blake was gone. Poof. Deleted. Hoover didn't merely walk away from the mess. She sprinted in the opposite direction. And honestly, good for her. Blake's diva conduct and PR antics might work in Hollywood, but Colleen Hoover? She's got novels to write and a reputation to protect.
She asked him herself to play Ryle in the movie, and things were great until Blake Lively, right?
So he gets Blake Lively. She's married to Ryan Reynolds. These are Hollywood A-listers. He's going to put him on the map. And she agrees to be his female co-star. Great, they're off to the races.
Apparently, Hoover has had enough of being sucked into the circus that is Blake Lively's life. Between the legal issues, creative disputes, and Blake supposedly altering her own narrative, it appears like Hoover eventually concluded that maybe the genuine tale here wasn't so inspirational after all. Fans couldn't help but remark that while Hoover has kept her distance from Blake, she still follows Baldoni on Instagram. Subtle shade, or simply another hint that Hoover's making? It apparent where her loyalty stands? Either way, the message is loud and clear. She's done with Blake's Queen of Chaos act.
And that what in fact happened was Justin didn't harass Blake. Blake was interested in wresting control of this movie away from Justin, who was the director and the producer. She was just an actress in it, and used threats and coercion and bullying to do it.
Blake Lively has proven, Ryan Reynolds has proven to be actually the smartest in the room and was likely manipulating her. And it is likely, this is my guess, that Blake and Ryan have messages with her. Because if she's that dramatic in a release statement, she probably was even more dramatic in like just being the friend that supports your friend, even when you know you're lying.
Well, let's take a look back at when it all started. Colleen Hoover, Justin Baldoni, and Blake Lively. These three names have been at the core of one of the most incendiary controversies to strike Hollywood in years. With That Ends With Us, Hoover's best-selling novel making the transfer from page to screen, this project seems set for success, and there's little question about that. Fans were elated. A superb cast, a filmmaker famous for his emotional storytelling, and an author whose works have captivated millions worldwide. What could go wrong? Well, everything.
I want all the roles for me and only me. I want full control because I am a controlling bully. He told us that Justin Baldoni claims she tried to take over his movie because she has a history of saying, okay, I'll be the star, but what I secretly want to do is direct it and edit it and produce it.
It all started so brilliantly. Colleen Hoover opted to bring her sad story, It Ends With Us, to life on the big screen. This wasn't merely another romantic novel. It was a captivating saga of grief, survival, and persistence. Fans adored it. Hollywood noticed, and shortly, the project was in full swing.
So negative press swirled around her during this whole, like a month, right? Later, she would describe this as though it was the pile-on against Trump. Honestly, it's like most of us, especially in Republican politics or the news, this is called Tuesday for us.
The Hollywood actress Blake Lively has filed a legal complaint against her. It Ends With Us co-star Justin Baldoni, alleging sexual harassment and a campaign to destroy her reputation.
And she had trust in Justin Baldoni. Baldoni, known for directing movies like 5 Feet Apart and for his reputation as a nice guy who preaches about love and charity, appeared like the appropriate candidate to head this endeavor. Colleen Hoover was ecstatic. She even wrote letters full of praises, underlining how convinced she was in his skills to do homage to her treasured tale. Everything appeared to be coming into place.
100% Ryan was the one who put this line in here. Not SNL, not Tina Fey, not Blake Lively, but Ryan.
And I think that quote there really shows that she's the center of attention. She takes this opportunity that he has to train himself and prepare for a scene as somehow relating to her weight.
Then came Blake Lively. When she was cast as Lily, the principal role, many were happy. Lively's ability to display both force and sensitivity made her feel like the obvious choice. With Hoover's evocative story, Baldoni's vision, and Lively's star power, the movie was set for stardom, but behind the scenes, things weren't as terrific as they appeared. Trouble started building up throughout production, and it didn't take long for tales of creative differences to surface.
She adored Justin. She did. I'm sorry. She absolutely adored Justin. We could show you clip after clip after clip. Obviously, you can read the lawsuit and see the emails. And then, like I said, she got Blakeified, Reynolds-ified. She wrote, Blake Lively, you have been nothing but honest, kind, supportive, and patient since the day we met. Thank you for being exactly the human that you are. Never change, never wilt.
Blake Lively performed a fantastic part here. Rumors from the set claimed she didn't merely stick to acting. She had strong opinions about how the picture should be done. Lively started becoming active with creative decisions, even taking control. In certain cases, apparently she wasn't shy to dispute Baldoni's views or propose her own. Some dubbed her controlling. And yes, that's the correct language to convey who she is.
So you can ask the question, why did Colleen delete these posts? Well, some people are speculating, well, she's read through things and now she's on Justin Baldoni's side. I don't feel that way.
Justin has hit Blake Lively, Ryan Reynolds, and her publicist, Leslie Sloan, with a $400 million lawsuit.
And just when you thought things couldn't be more dramatic, Ryan Reynolds joined the picture. Lively's husband, famed for his sarcastic wit and Deadpool fame, reportedly got involved in altering portions of the screenplay. Depending on who you ask, this was either a fantastic demonstration of support or a case of too many cooks in the kitchen.
Suddenly, Justin files his countersuit and there's major backlash against her for having supported Blake but not having said anything about Justin. And so Colleen deactivated her Instagram on January 21st. And she has now just reemerged and she's cleaned out her Instagram page. She has without question deleted 5 Instagram posts, and the internet is certain that these were all of the Instagram posts of her and Blake Lively.
As filming dragged on, the mood on site slowly became more and more uncomfortable. Baldoni, who had originally started as the powerful and assured head of the project, suddenly found himself battling to preserve control. He had to contend with Lively's increasingly prominent presence, which demanded care, as well as Reynolds' regular comments and imaginative proposals. What had previously seemed like a perfect alliance, full with enthusiasm and big aspirations, was now morphing into a behind-the-scenes tug-of-war. The balance of power was shifting, and the smooth production process was being replaced by subtle arguments, disagreements, and conflicting perspectives. Every choice, huge or tiny, suddenly felt like a battle, and the tension on set continued to build with each passing day. The creative differences amongst the primary contributors were no longer just minor obstacles. They were turning into full-fledged fights that threatened to rule the entire project.
But also, you guys, Colleen Hoover just reactivated her Instagram account and she has apparently deleted all of the photos with Blake Lively. And so the tables turned very quickly against Colleen. People expected her to then now give a more informed answer, a more informed response as to how she could have gone along with what is appearing to be such obvious forms of bullying.
What should have been a thrilling adaptation of a popular novel was suddenly a maelstrom of creative disagreements, egos, and rewrites. And sadly, this was simply the beginning of the strife that would eventually escape into the public eye. It Ends With Us was becoming less about the story and more about the turbulence around it.
I feel like readers know what they know what they want to see when it comes to a book that they're so passionate about. And I think a lot of times that can be overlooked. But Justin, from the very beginning, was so adamant on including them because they're the ones, who made the book see the success it saw. And he's so wonderful. And Justin in general, I'm just a fan of his, on his Instagram and his TikTok pages.
Then followed the bombshell that sent shockwaves through Hollywood. Blake Lively initiated a legal complaint against her co-star and co-director, Justin Baldoni. The assertions were as startling as they were frightening. Lively alleged that Baldoni had sexually harassed her throughout the shooting of the film, outlining episodes of inappropriate behavior on set that spanned from uninvited advances to embarrassing talks about explicit personal matters. These complaints extended to the mismanagement of intimate times, when professional boundaries were purportedly crossed. But are there true reasons?
She has, you could say, established her brand as someone who is anti-abuse. I think it's really important to now stake a horse in this race and say, I obviously was completely manipulated. And I think it's more likely that what she's doing here is trying to stay out of it. This is the Taylor Swift movement. This is likely a legal strategy. I don't want to be involved in this case.
The allegations didn't end there. Lively allegedly accused Baldoni of running a deliberate smear campaign against her, alleging that he had gone to extraordinary pains to protect his own reputation while actively working to harm hers. According to Lively, Baldoni reportedly employed an excellent PR crisis management team to manipulate the media narrative, ensuring that public opinion continued in his favor while simultaneously discrediting her side of the incident. This stated, attempt entails planting bogus news online, propagating misleading narratives through social media influencers, and even stoking heated online debates to deflect the public's gaze away from his actions. Some observers even claimed that negative news pieces aiming at destroying Lively's reputation may have been purposely inserted to make her appear untrustworthy or even spiteful. For many, the information was highly distressing. Baldoni had purposefully developed a public persona as a progressive voice in Hollywood, one that championed contemporary masculinity, feminism, and emotional sensitivity. His image had been constructed through his best-selling books, inspiring public speaking engagements, and high-profile companies that positioned him as a champion for social change. Now, with these claims surfacing, many began questioning whether his carefully created reputation was really a mask masking something far more troubling.
Without question, she's going to be called to take the stand and to speak about Justin's behavior. If you are her lawyer, you are saying to her, you need to be neutral. You need to stay out of this thing. This is not good for you. It's not good for your future. This is going to get ugly very fast. And it has the ability to ricochet.
But here's the twist. Her neutrality might perhaps work in her benefit. Hollywood enjoys a good comeback, and sometimes keeping out of the mudslinging is the smartest decision. By refusing to join sides, she might well be playing her cards properly, ensuring that she doesn't get sucked into unwanted drama. This method could wind up being Hoover's golden ticket to keeping her name out of more detrimental headlines. After all, in a business where reputation is everything, sometimes the wisest approach is to say nothing at all. The more she removes herself from the incident, the greater her possibilities of safeguarding her career and public image. She's managed to walk a thin line, staying current without becoming another casualty of Hollywood's endless cycle of scandals and betrayals. By avoiding public announcements or alliances, she's also making sure she doesn't offend any of her important pals. Baldoni, despite his soiled reputation, is still a prominent participant in the sector. His influence and relationships could be valuable down the future, and breaking ties altogether would not be the smartest approach. On the other hand, Lively remains a fan favorite, even in the thick of legal trouble. She still has a large impact in Hollywood, and being affiliated with her may be just as helpful. For now, it looks like Hoover is following a wise approach, remaining silent and letting the storm pass. If she continues to play her cards correctly, she might just emerge from this dilemma uninjured, with her career and reputation intact. In a world where public opinion varies like the wind, sometimes neutrality is the most effective weapon of all.
It's based on a beautiful, really important book, and it's about a young woman named Lily who confronts the
Hollywood power couple Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds, and actor and director Justin Baldoni. The plot of this lawsuit is actually more interesting, I believe, than the film that they made.
The effects from the Lively-Baldoni legal conflict is striking shockwaves way beyond just these two Hollywood stars. This battle isn't just about personal grievances. It's a storm threatening Hoover's full slate of planned initiatives. We're talking about enormous book-to-screen adaptations, including Verity, Reminders of Him, and Even It Ends With Us, which has already suffered its fair share of criticism. The success of these programs hinges on Hoover staying untouched by the drama, but that's proving to be a difficult accomplishment. If the business begins considering her as too risky to deal with, that's a bad scenario for any author wanting to see their work make it to the big screen. Hollywood is a society where impression is key, and if Hoover's name becomes too entwined in this problem, she can find herself being discreetly blacklisted. Studios and production businesses don't relish controversy unless they can control it, and right now, Hoover is straddling a precarious line between neutrality and complicity. And here's the kicker. By keeping neutral, Hoover might not be saving herself at all. Critics and fans alike have been quick to point out that her silence would make her look engaged in Baldoni's alleged wrongdoing. Worse, some are accusing her of turning her back on Blake Lively, someone she formerly openly idolized. This isn't just about taking sides. It's about what her silence says about her ideals. Fans are left thinking a very tough question. Did Hoover compromise her ideals solely to keep Hollywood happy? It's a problem that doesn't have an easy solution, but one that's producing a major disagreement among her fans. Some believe that she's merely defending her career and the future of her adaptations, while others feel she's placing profit before morals. And let's not forget that the effects from this episode isn't only affecting Hoover's reputation. It may have major ramifications for her novels and their success as films. Readers who earlier enjoyed her work might start distancing themselves, while studios could reconsider their investments if the public outrage escalates. Hollywood is cruel, and if Hoover becomes too much of a burden, it won't hesitate to carry on without her. At the end of the day, it's a question of survival. Hoover might not have destroyed Blake Lively in the traditional sense, but she has definitely erased her from the narrative in a way that says volumes. Whether purposeful or not, she has effectively separated herself from Lively's difficulties while ensuring that she remains in Hollywood's good graces. But will it work? Or will this quiet come back to haunt her? One thing is certain. This narrative is far from done, and the repercussions of Hoover's actions are only just beginning to surface. Hit like and subscribe to the channel to get informed on the newest developments in the Justin Lively drama.